Janitors, what's the most chaotic mess you've ever seen? I've cleaned schools for 15 years, but nothing prepared me for the science fair disaster of 2019. I was doing my regular evening rounds when the principal called me in a panic. Steve, we need you in the gym now. The way her voice cracked told me this wasn't a typical spill. When I pushed open those double doors, I froze. The entire basketball court was covered in a thick bubbling blanket of what looked like toothpaste foam. It was oozing across the floor, dripping down the walls and the scoreboard. The smell hit me next, vinegar mixed with something chemical that made my eyes water. In the middle of this disaster stood a single science display table, somehow still standing like an island in a sea of foam. The poster board read, Elephant Toothpaste Extreme Edition. It turns out a 7th grade science was named Austin had decided that the regular elephant toothpaste experiment wasn't impressive enough. For those who don't know, it's when you mix hydrogen peroxide with dish soap and yeast to create a foamy reaction. But this kid had brought industrial-strength hydrogen peroxide, the kind used for pool cleaning, and combined it with not only dish soap but 5 different cleaning chemicals he'd taken from the janitor's closet. When the judges came to his table, he dropped in his catalyst and everything went wrong. Instead of a controlled demonstration, he'd created a chemical volcano that wouldn't stop growing. The reaction was so violent it knocked over 3 other projects which spilled their chemicals into the mix. The foam started spreading across the floor, consuming everything in its path. Kids were screaming, parents were grabbing their children, and teachers were desperately trying to maintain order while standing on chairs. But the foam kept coming, doubling in size every few minutes. By the time I arrived, the gym was evacuated and the fire department was on the way. The principal handed me a mop with shaking hands while the chemistry teacher frantically explained that we couldn't use water because it might make certain chemicals react worse. I called my buddy Jack, who had worked in hazmat cleanup. He told me to wait for professionals, but the principal was panicking about the gym floor. The expensive hardwood would warp if left soaking overnight. For 16 straight hours we worked alongside hazmat crews in full suits. The foam had seeped into every crack, climbed into the air ducts, and even damaged the electrical system. We had to remove sections of the gym floor, remove the HVAC system, and repaint half the walls. The total damage? $67,000. The school's insurance barely covered it because they claimed intentional misuse of chemicals wasn't in the policy. As for Austin, he actually got a scholarship to a science summer camp. Some professor from the state university saw the news story and was impressed by his enthusiasm for chemistry, albeit misguided. Meanwhile, I spent weeks getting foam out of places I never thought possible. The kicker came 6 weeks later during parent-teacher conferences. Austin's mom stopped me in the hallway and handed me a gift card. Austin feels terrible about what happened, she said. I nodded and thanked her. It was $20 to Starbucks for $67,000 worth of damage. Now whenever we have a science fair, I stand guard at the janitor's closet, and each teacher has to approve experiments personally in writing.